Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is TAV here. If you use Mac every day and you probably know the usual keyboard shortcuts like Command C, Command V and Command Z, but macOS has another set of keyboard shortcuts that many users never hear about. They let you move through text, jump to the beginning or end of a line, delete text, restore deleted text, and even rearrange characters all without taking your hands off the keyboard. You don't need to use mouse every time. And the interesting part is that many of these shortcuts come from OS underlying text editing system, so they can work a surprising number of Mac applications. In this video, I will show you those hidden control key shortcuts and explain exactly what each one does and give you a simple example. Like you can see here, I have opened my notes here to show you and demonstrate those shortcuts so you can understand using them immediately. So without further delay, let's start the video. So let's start with Ctrl plus A. This shortcut instantly moves your cursor to the beginning of the current line or paragraph. For example, imagine we have typed welcome to my Mac tutorial full stop here, and our cursor is sitting at the very end, like after full stop you can see that. So instead of reaching for the mouse or pressing the home key, simply press Ctrl plus A button. Now you can see the cursor have now reached to the beginning of the line. It basically the Mac text version of going to the start of the line. So remember it like A for the beginning. Okay, next is the Ctrl plus E. This is one of the important shortcut that we can use it for increasing our productivity. What it does, it's exactly opposite of Ctrl plus A that we have just seen. So it moves the cursor directly to the end of the current line or paragraph. For example, if our cursor here is at the beginning and I press Ctrl E, now you can see our cursor immediately jumps to the end of the line. So you can remember the pair very easily. Ctrl plus A for beginning and Ctrl plus E for end, that goes simply to the end of the line. Once you get used to these two, you will rarely need to reach for the mouse just to move around a line or text. So this is very simple shortcuts that everyone need to know. Now for example, we have Control plus F for moving forward. So this moves the cursor forward by one character. In other words, it moves one character to the right. For example, if I type here, I'm going to next line, Mac. Okay, it's simple. Let's make it bigger. Now you can see it. So for example, and the cursor is you can see here it's right before M, and you want to move by one character forward, so simply press Control F. Now you can see the cursor is moved from M, and it's between M and A. Press it again, Control F, it will now move, and after A, and it's now between A and C. So Control plus F is essentially a keyboard only way to move forward through your text one character at a time. So you can do one more time like this. Now you can see our cursor is now moved to the right side by one character, and the reverse, like if you want to move backward by one character, you have to press Control and B for backward, like this, like this, like this. And if you want to move forward, you can press Control F again, Control F again, Control F. And if you want to move backward by one character, simply press Control B again, Control B again, Control B again. Now Control plus P, this is the next shortcut that we are going to see, that moves the cursor up by one line. So for example, if I press Control and P button together here, let me press and show you. Control P, you can see your cursor was on the third line, and now it jumped to the line above. It's now in the second line, which is actually a gap. I have kept the space in the second line, and if I press Control P again, it moves to the first line. So the easiest way to remember this one is that P means previous. So Control plus P means move to the previous line. Now the next shortcut that we are going to see is exactly opposite of Control plus P, which is called as Control plus N. So Control plus N means move down. So if I press Control plus N, it simply moves out your cursor to the second line. If you press it again, it moves the cursor to the third line. So Control plus N means move to the next line. You remember it like next line. Control plus P means previous line. Together, Control plus P and Control plus N gives you keyboard control over vertical movement through your text. You can see when I press Control plus P, it moves vertically up, and control plus N, it moves vertically to the next line. This is one of the important shortcut that I thought to share it with you. And now we will get into the text deletions. So here what I am going to discuss is about control plus H that deletes the character immediately behind the cursor. So for example, if there is something behind the cursor, like let me write something like, for example, if I write here to show you Mac BO, and I am like this, the cursor here in between this O. So when I press Control H, or if I have typed 3 times letter O, and I want to delete one character of O, simply press Control and H. So what it will going to do, it's going to delete the letter O. In simple terms, it's just like a backspace key. Whenever you press Control H, it does the work of deleting the word to the left side of the cursor, that in this way. So if your fingers are already on the control key and you are typing something, Control plus H gives you another way to perform that backspace function. So this is one of the important shortcut that everyone needs to know. And simply, if you would like to like, for example, if I have written something incorrectly between these two O's and K, you can see there is one J which I don't need. To delete that one, if your cursor is like here, then you can simply press Control and D. So what it does the function of delete key. Control H and Control D are the two important shortcuts that need to be remembered. Like Control D means delete forward, it's a delete function, and Control H for backspace or control backward. So these are the very important keyboard shortcuts that need to be remembered. And the important one, like for example, imagine we have welcome to my Mac tutorial, and your cursor is like here in between Mac and tutorial. You can see here I have kept my cursor there to demonstrate this one, and the cursor is sitting in the middle of the sentence, and you can press Control K. Like for example, if I press Control K, so everything after that cursor is removed. So kill to the end of the line, like it's in Emacs style terminology. So when you press Control K, it simply delete everything what is after your cursor. And here is an important bonus for you all guys, like the deleted text isn't necessarily lost. Okay, macOS keep that killed text available for the next shortcut, which I am going to show you. Like when you press Control and Y like this, you will get like whatever you have killed, and you simply don't remember, you can press Control Y to bring it back. So this operation is called yank. So Control plus Y means yank. So in this way you can bring back your kills line back by pressing Control and Y. For example, if I do it one more time for you guys, like for example, I have press Control K, you see everything gone after the cursor. And if you thought that, hey, I have deleted something wrong, then you can bring it back by pressing Control Y. And now the important one, this is something you need to know. Like for example, while typing certain things, like if we make any mistake, like I want to write Mac, but I have written something incorrectly, like the word A should be to the left side and C to the right side. So you can simply transpose those characters by pressing Control and key. You can see those characters have now shuffled their positions, and to make the things correct. Look, this actually does it actually transposes or swaps the character around the cursor. Let me show you one more time. If you have written something like this, you can simply press Control and T, and it simply shuffle the positions of the characters like this. So you can use this and make your work really very efficient. So, and that's it, 11 useful macOS text editing shortcuts that can make navigating and editing text much faster. You don't have to memorize all of them at once. Start with the most useful ones, like Control A, Control E, Control K, and Control Y, and gradually add the others to your muscle memory. Once these shortcuts become second nature, you will spend a lot less time reaching for the mouse or arrow keys. So if you found any shortcut here that you didn't know about, let me know in the comments which one you are going to start using. And if you enjoyed this Mac tip, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more useful macOS tutorials and shortcuts. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, take care and bye bye. Peace.